So they're probably, it's not, are you, is he doing anything on Amazon, like any sort of advertising on Amazon, or is that all organic from his Facebook?
You know what?
Like, do you think people are
of
seeing the ad and then like, huh, where can I get this on Amazon for cheaper?
we've
And
been
they're
seeing a lot
finding
of
it on
people,
Amazon.
yeah, we've been seeing a lot of people say, hey, you can get this on Amazon. I've done some little market research and asked people around here. I go, hey, if you saw an ad on Facebook, would you buy the product to be promoted, or would you go to Amazon? And about 7 out of 10 say they go to Amazon to look at the reviews and if they could get it there. And sure enough,
Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah,
I don't know
same
what it
thing.
is.
We see the same thing.
Yeah, the open wide is starting to like die down a little bit. So I'll duplicate it and then relaunch it with some new ads, and then I'll have a campaign only set for creative testing, But we're seeing the bulk of the money come from the retargeting, and code traffic is, and obviously code traffic is starting to kind of dwindle. Like one day it's like the funnel does great, the next day it's like his Shopify store does great, and so it kind of goes back and forth because he wants to send traffic to Shopify, but he likes the upsells that are going on in the funnel. So he likes both. So we're doing both, and he's
so then
he's
are you
happy about
doing
it.
any sort of like bid capping or cost capping or ROAS control to try and get your spend more effective?
So I put a cost cap at $25 on a couple of ad sets, and it was barely even spending.
Yeah, that's so the thing with cost cap and with ROAS control and with bid capping is that if it cannot achieve your target, it's not going to spend.
Okay.
Right. So Facebook's going to predict based on the impressions, views, and engagement, and also the later events throughout your funnel. It's going to, like, if Facebook can hit your target, then Facebook's going to continue spending your budget based on your threshold. If it cannot hit your target based on your threshold, then it stops spending. Well, maybe not stops, but it dwindles down to next to stop. If not, if it doesn't stop. Okay. And so one of the things we do is we increase that bid cap, right? So like what's his AOV at?
His AOV, the average order value is like around $77.
77, and so he needs to be above a 2 to be happy.
He for a 2 ROAS, he likes to be at a 1.7.
So, dude, that's badass. Okay, so something that doesn't require significant performance to be profitable. What I would do is if your ROAS control, if you want it to be a 1.7, so then take his $30 or $70 AOV, divide that by 1.3 or 1.7, and so you'll get your, what is that? Actually, not 1.7. Because you want double is going to be 35, so then you want it to be more like 40. So I would put a bid cap in. So here's what I would do. I would say you did one at 20. Is that what you said? Did I hear you right?
Yeah. So because the CPA, we're seeing it like for him to be profitable, even at a 2x ROAS, the cost per purchase was right around $20. So that, okay, cool. Let me test like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21.
Here's what I would do is I would segment what page you're sending traffic to, right? So it goes like, I would set up 2 campaigns, right? So one campaign goes straight to Shopify. If you're straight to Shopify, has a lower AOV, right? So if you need to be at $20 to be profitable, right? So then, or $20 to be at a 2, then okay, put a $20 cost per purchase cap. But then also duplicate the exact same campaign, the same campaign, and run one to the funnel, where you have the funnel comes in at a higher AOV. So if you have an AOV of $70 and you need to be at a 1.7, so 70 at a 2 is going to be $35, right? Yeah. So put it down to 1.7, you're going to be more like 40, maybe 41, 42. I'm just doing math in my head. I don't know if I'm right. Right. So come in. So if you need to be at 1.7, come in at that. So come in around the 1.8, 2.0. And just test it. And so like I would test it in $5 intervals. Well, at least I do for a higher ticket. Maybe test it in smaller intervals if you like. But so run 3 ad sets: one at a 20, one at a 30, one at a 40, and then on your and do the same thing, but intervals on their funnel page also, because your funnel you can have a higher cost per purchase because you have a higher AOV, right?
Yeah. Now,
on the one that's going Shopify, you can do that.
are you thinking about like ad set budget cost cap?
Yes.
Okay, because I've seen people starting to do it at campaign level, and then you
Well,
have
so
like 20 different
unless
ad
you have,
sets, something like that.
here's the misconception about CBO and ABO, that if you have something that's already proven, then transition from ABO to CBO. If you don't have something proven yet, you're testing an audience, you're testing a creative, or you want to get some statistical relevance or achieve statistical relevance, then at that point, shoot, what was my point that I got stuck on the statistical relevance word?
Now here's the interesting thing. So we're talking like psoriasis, right? All the interests. There's only like five interests in that group, and then I'm targeting like skincare and dermatology. So it's like within those audiences, I'll stack them because some of them are not big at all. So I'll stack all five, and then I'll narrow it. Also, it'll include skincare. Even Head and Shoulders has been a kind of an interesting thing. But here, look, let me show you something real quick. Let's see. Can I share it? Oh, I gotta open it up real quick, I guess. Zoom. Can I do it? Let me see if I could do it. Screen share. Yeah.
Okay. You got it.
Here we go. Okay, so this is the beauty of the funnel. You can only get this product, this Facebook promo product for $39 at the $39 price through the funnel. And then you get the 2-pack shampoo, then you get the spray. Some people have been getting this, and then there is the 2-pack cream. This is beautiful. This is what you say. This is like $77 AOV right there. That's beautiful. But it fluctuates, like it's been fluctuating today. So here is a retargeting for his Shopify store. This is broad audiences right here. CBO, 4 sales made $259. We only spent $96 today, right? That's at a 2x, 2.6x for ROAS. But of course, it's been fluctuating from day to day. But these are the audiences that I've been testing like this month. And this is all going toward the funnel. Okay. So some days, like today, like this one probably spent like $30 or $40. I turned it off because it didn't get a sell today. But we're getting more purchases through here than we are getting through his Shopify store, right? And so I will move it into broad audiences here. I would do some other CBO campaigns, but some of them are just not getting anything. So it's like, what is it about this audience? What do they got to believe? What is it that they got to see? And so that's just like some of the questions I had a call with him today. I said, hey, look, we got to get something in front of them in order them to believe it. Now, here's the interesting part. Let me show you this. In this video, this is one I showed you that I made back in December. Okay. Yep. I don't know if you can see this, but let me open up the comments. I made this in December and it's still going strong. This one gets really good sales. It's all about the product, what makes it unique. And look at the comments and the engagement. And sometimes even I will be in here, comment to people, and I'm doing what you said, where I will message people as well. So all in Messenger, I'm messaging them. I'm saying, hey, this is me right here. So I'm talking to them. Hey, is there something wrong with your product? How can we help? And things like that, So I'm actively engaging. I told him to engage as much as he can, and he's doing it, as well as his manager. And we're trying to get testimonials, but these people will not give a testimonial, even if we're going to give them $50 for a gift card, something, because this audience needs something to believe because they have psoriasis, So
I guess you're right. Like if I had psoriasis, I probably wouldn't want to go throw my picture or my name on a review saying, hey, you've got a great product. So I probably wouldn't want people to know.
Yeah, it's a very touchy subject. It's a very touchy subject, but people in here, look at this. Look at this. I have psoriasis. Okay. Here it is. Look at this. I'm always leery of medical products sold via internet, but this stuff is fantastic. Right? So people look interesting. She put this, Julie, my hair on my scalp is finally growing back after 5 years. I have been using product for 2.5 months. I've been like positive.
Are you pulling
reviews.
these out and throwing them in as reviews on the site?
I thought about like making a video where all the testimonials are coming in, right? As a creative. I thought about doing that.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So
yeah, there's a new creative that we just actually have, I can go get on my computer and show it to you. So Moon Magic is one of our competitors that we follow and we kind of model after a little bit. So they have a new ad creative, and it's a girl wearing their jewelry, got her ring on, but then it's got like 6 or 7 different Facebook comments of how much they love it and how much they love it, and so that's performing quite well for them. So we just decided to duplicate that. So I think that's a really good idea you have there.
Yeah. So, man, people are buying like all of it. Like either they get the upsell for the conditioner, the 2-pack shampoo. You saw the shampoo earlier. People are buying the creams. So I'm just trying to segment out which are the winning pages.
So like the only thing that I can see is that, so like how quickly, when are you making decisions to stop loss or to kill your non-performing ads?
Well, if it doesn't make a sale today by spending $20 to $25, I turn it off.
Mm-hmm.
I have a rule for that. So if it spends 20 to 25, then I'll turn it off. Because obviously it's just in a bad pocket, So that's what I'm looking at that, but if it spends in the morning, it should get another sale by 2 p.m. And usually it does. And sometimes it just doesn't. It just spends $40, $50 and there's no sale. So I'm like, hey, I'm not going to spend more money if you're not going to make any sales. So I'm watching how much we're spending. Some days I'll spend 700. And obviously also too, like today, it's made about 1,300. And so Facebook's only reporting so much, but he knows that the certain products that you get for a certain price, you can only get through the funnel, but Facebook's not getting the recognition for it.
So you have an issue with attribution.
Yes. So I told him about Hyros. So he wants to try any track or something like that. It's some other app. But it's like $100 a month.
There's an easy way. So Hyros is good. So we've been using it. It is quite expensive. It's like, for us, it's like $6,000 every 6 months. So what is that? $1,000 a month. That their most expensive is like $4,000 a month for unlimited traffic. But what's nice is that we're able to see about 95% attribution now. And so it's connected through. It's like having a second pixel, right? So we've got you've got access. It's on our email. It's on our organic content. It's on our paid traffic. So we see it. But the other thing too, like the benefit with Hyros is that they report data back to Facebook using Facebook conversion API.
Okay.
And so that the same thing can be accomplished at a much lesser of a cost. So there's we also use Google Data Studio. And with Google Data Studio, we use a connector for Supermetrics. And so it comes out to be about $129 a month for the Supermetrics license. Google Data Studio is free. And so what you'll do is you just append your ads, at the ad level, you'll append your UTM tag. And so you'll just pass UTM tags, and you can pull that into Google Analytics, as well as pull it in through Google Analytics into Data Studio. So you can achieve the same level of reporting where you can see from impression to purchase what happens across the board, even if Facebook doesn't see it, right? But with Hyros, the benefit is that the purchase data still gets sent back to Facebook, so Facebook still sees the purchase data. Right. But both things to be accomplished. If he doesn't need the data back on Facebook, then Facebook has difficulty optimizing if it doesn't see that it has the traffic it needs. But if that's not the issue, if you just want to see that it's actually working without having to go look at, well, because it was this price and it must have been this funnel, or that price, it must have been this source. If you just use a tool like Data Studio, then you can accomplish the same thing that Hyros does without the ability of sending it back to Facebook. But at least you have it.
Yeah. Cool. I'll definitely look into Supermetrics and Google Data Studio. But, so very cool. Very cool.
So like right now, it's like our open wides. don't perform as well as they were fourth quarter, only because of our delayed attribution. Well, our non-existent attribution. So we were down to about 65% reporting. So on Facebook, it's like on Facebook, my performance looks horrible. On Facebook, my ROAS looks like it's a 1.4. Wow. And so, but yeah, it's because it doesn't see all the data. In actuality, so like for this month, we're at 2.17. So we're still lower than we need to be. Like our target is to a minimum of 2.25. We're still a little bit lower than we need to be, but our broad target and cost capping doesn't work, simply because Facebook doesn't see the performance, so it can't optimize for the performance it doesn't see. So our broad opens are turned off. Everything we're doing right now are based on lookalikes, retargeting, and saved interest. But I don't do any layering on those saved interests. We just keep them all single interest on our top performing.
Oh wow! Okay.
Whatever we test out.
Are you doing a lot of CBO? Like how much CBO are you doing versus ABO? Because I've been seeing ABO outperform CBO.
Yeah. So majority of our campaigns are ABO. The only one on CBO are the broad targeting. Everything else is on ABO.
Yeah. A friend of mine. Do you know who Ashton Shanks is?
I don't know who that is. No.
You know, the guy's spending I think like $300,000 a month on Facebook, of course, collectively with his clients. But a friend of mine, they were spending close to $40,000 a day, and he's seen a drop in CBO. All ABO has been dominating, so it's kind of interesting to see what other people are doing. But you know, for me, I'm just doing
like for us, like CBO it was nice when it first came out, but I think there was a big hype behind CBO because there was the fear that it's going to go from ABO and you're going to have to transition to CBO. So it's just like there were a lot of scare tactic marketers out there that made it seem like you're never going to be able to use ABO again, start using CBO. So everyone adopted. But see, the problem with Facebook and with any marketing tool really is that the more people that use it, the more saturated it becomes, then the more competitive it is and the more it costs, and then the performance goes away or deteriorates. And so this is where like testing different placements, testing different budgets, testing different objectives, even testing different conversion windows. Oh, by the way, talking about conversion windows. So this is the first time in 4 years we finally have a Facebook rep, right? So normally if I need to speak with Facebook, it's like I got to go out of their chat support or it's just like a concierge, but I've got a window of time I'm allowed to do that. But I've never had a rep. And so we finally got a rep. He's based in Austin. And so I was talking to him. So we had a big, about 2-hour conversation about attribution and iOS 14. What's interesting is we've seen performance deterioration since February, right? But he says that iOS 14, there have been some rolling implementations, but it's not enforced, and so there shouldn't be any performance issues with it. And so like that was confusing because we see, like I said, with 65% attribution success, and so what about the other 35%? Where's that? Why don't we see that? But so anyway, we talked about attribution windows, and he says that right now Facebook just got rid of the 28-day. So you can still report 28-day, but you can't optimize for 28-day. And he says that once Facebook enforces iOS 14, so once Apple says it's official, and so Facebook, he says that it could be any day. They're anticipating spring. They've been told by Apple to be this spring, but they're anticipating it to be any day. When it does, 7-day attribution is gone also. And so meaning we have to optimize for 1-day click into essentially they're going to a cookieless tracking, right? So you'll be able to keep no data on customers once they leave the site. Whereas a cookie, right? If you've got a 60, 90, 180-day cookie, then you've got somebody that you see everywhere where they go after they see your page, before they saw your page. You have a lot of insight, right? But so Apple's making it so that it's a cookieless model. It'll be first day attribution, 1-day attribution. So things to think about when things go live is how you're measuring lift and how you're measuring how you're actually pulling out your 7-day or 28-day attribution without being able to optimize for it.
So I was testing out different windows. Let me see. I think I have one here. I think I probably changed it back. So this one I was spending, I think today. Yeah, today I think I spent, or let me see. Was it this day? Yeah, this will spend $56 and got no sale. But this has multiple attributions. If I was to go to today for these that are active, obviously I can't see nothing here because there's a ton of campaigns in here. I got to go through each one and change them to 7-day click, right? So the same conversion window. But if I was to click here, select the ones that I want to track, go to campaigns or the ad set level, now I can see how much I made, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, if I select this open wide with multiple different windows, I have 1-day click, 7 days click, 7-day click after viewing. I like to test those. But if I select that, and then I go here, it doesn't show up. So for me, at least I'm seeing it campaign at the campaign level or at the asset level, they all have to be the same conversion window for that data to show up at the bottom.
Yeah, you're correct.
If they don't, I'm like, that stinks. Like, why do they do that? Like, come on, Facebook.
Well, so there's ways around that. Like Facebook is just that way. So like because it's your attribution window. So if any of those attribution settings are different, then it's going to measure performance differently, right? Because on a 7-day click, that means that you're still going to get new sales. If it happens in the last 7 days from when they open your ad, you may see a purchase today, but it won't show for today. It'll go be attributed back to the day it's supposed to show up for, right? So you'll see that your ROAS for yesterday improved magically. And so it's not just magic, it's just because it's a 7-day window. So yeah, whenever you have different attribution settings, it can't report the same. It's a different window look back. But the ways around that is you can, in Google Data Studio, you can pull all these in. You can look at business manager level, campaign level, or ad account level, business manager level, campaign, ad set ad level.
Well, look at that. This right here, it doesn't show purchases.
Yeah.
But I turned it off. And look, there's 2 purchases right there for $109.
Oh, is that on a 7-day click?
See? Look today.
So are you using RevealBot or any sort of automated rules to stop loss or to reactivate things that turned off that shouldn't have been?
Well, at the campaign level, I have, again, if it's at the ABL level, I have the $20 stop loss rule. If it doesn't hit a sale by $20, turn it off. And then if it makes a sale, but then again, look, even if I go here, I still don't see it. So I'm like,
yeah, I don't know why that is.
See that?
So here's something else. Here's something else to think about. Well, I just had a train of thought. What was it? Not what I was going to say. If it comes back to me, I'll share it.
That's okay.
Man, it was important too. What was I going to say?
Stop loss rule.
Can you show me? Can you show me what you just did? Because it was about what you just showed me. Can you do that again?
So at the campaign level, it shows no sales. But if I go down deeper into the ad set, it shows 2 sales for 109.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was gonna say. Thank you. So, so the thing about your strategy is impeccable, right? But this is like the strategy that you have at these lower dollars at the lower budget is more of like a testing strategy, right? So these are more of like, let's find out what works. The transition, and it's scary, right? It's scary when you just get started doing this. The transition is to start to adjust these to higher budget, right? So when I start to think of a higher budget, I look at, so what's my AOV? I want to spend 3 times AOV to get down. And so if I've got a $77 AOV, well, go to Shopify with the actual store-wide AOV, right? So what your AOV is, and then so like my ad cost threshold at a minimum is that, right? And I also I won't measure anything on a daily basis. We measure everything starting on a 3-day look back window, and then also a 7-day look back window when I turn things back on if things are still profitable for that 7 days. But being able to adjust budgets at a higher scale. So instead of running $50, $70, $90 budgets, being confident of saying, hey, it's scary at first, but the way that you're going to be able to get higher budgets turned up is by actually spending more. And so putting up a $250 or a $500 campaign, have your rules in place. But I wouldn't necessarily look at a stop at 20 unless you could. But understanding that if you've got some sales that just don't track on Facebook, then you may be saying stop spending at 20, but maybe there were sales, it just doesn't see it. And so it's not going to reflect at the right number. So I would play it a little bit differently. And when you're doing higher budget, instead of looking at it at how's this ad doing or how's this ad set doing, I look at it at an overall, like, okay, here's how much I spent across all my accounts. Here's how much revenue that Shopify shows, right? So I want to measure the ROAS there when I'm making decisions. But I don't want to have multiple campaigns to make these decisions with. I'm limited to a few, right? So I've got my broad campaign, I've got my saved campaign, I've got my retargeting campaign. And so that way I'm not making a lot of decisions, but if I've got several different campaigns with several different objectives and several different optimization settings, then if I'm looking at measuring overall, I don't know which one to turn off if it's actually that one that needs to be turned off. And so the fewer, like right now, you've got a lot of variables. A lot of variables are good to test, right? So a lot of variables, low budget, see what works. Once you see what works, that's where you begin to graduate those, transition those from lower budget to higher budget. And you'll turn off the ones that you spend low budgets on, because you don't want to complicate your measurement of when you're measuring overall ROAS versus campaign ROAS. But yeah, so something to begin considering is how do you transition from spending a few $100s a day to a few $1,000s a day. And it's scary at first, but that's like ultimately Facebook relies on consistency. And so when you're taking campaigns, and this is something I can speak on personal experience, like I saw this myself 2 years ago, is that when I was very meticulous about turning things off when they weren't working.
Yeah.
And, or at least my assumption was if it wasn't working. And so when I turned them off, anytime I make a change on Facebook, it restarts that learning phase. And so even if it's out of learning, if I turn it off and turn it back on and turn it off and turn it back on, then the campaign, at that ad set level, learns that this is how you manage your campaigns. And so it'll continue to perform thinking that this is how you want it to perform, because that's how you're managing it. But when you give Facebook some wings, essentially, to fly, and trust that Facebook, look, getting started, you may see that first 2 or 3 days is not the most profitable, but the more consistent you can keep that on, then you start measuring weekly performance instead of daily performance. You may have some days that are just in the crapper, but you have other days that are much higher, but on average, you'll tend to be higher than the campaigns that are lower budget with a lot of manual editing. And it also saves a lot of time. And so for me, I look at time as a very valuable resource. And so anything I can not spend so much time managing ads is better for me.
Okay. So, but basically you're saying focus on these winners and turn up the heat on those.
Yeah. And then don't be scared if the first 2 or 3 days performance is crap, right? So obviously don't let it go and spend thousands of dollars unprofitably, which I don't think you'd do that. But still have a higher threshold, that instead of saying, okay, I need it to be at $20 a purchase, turn it off at 20. Well, maybe look at it as, look, your overall AOV is blank, multiply by 3. So give it a window before you make a decision. And then be okay with instead of looking at it today, once you have performance rolling in, start looking at it on like a 3-day window or a 7-day window, to begin measuring whether you turn stuff off or not.
On the Shopify, it shows that the average order for the last, let's see the last 30 days. I guess compared, let's see that. Yeah, it's still like around $44.
Yeah. So I put that in at, was that 90, 130, 135, 130? What's 45 times 3? Why can't I think that? 150 minus 15, 135.
Let me see. So 4462 times 3, 133.
Yeah. So I throw it in for somewhere around there when you're looking at, once you spend around $130, $135, then make a decision. Do I turn this off? But yeah, your budgets are where you got to get comfortable spending higher budgets, and again, making that transition is always scary, man. It's just like but once you make it, then you're like, why haven't I done this always? And so now, like when I go turn a campaign on, like I'll turn a test campaign on for $1,000 a day, no problem, because I know that we're going to get data fast. We're going to optimize quickly, and then we're going to turn that up to $5,000 a day or more. But I'm going to test quickly. And so I would have never done that when I just got started. I was too scared. I was running $5 tests, $25 tests at most. And at a $25 test, I wouldn't sleep, because like I've got like 15 ads at $25 a day. And so I'm like, I'm sitting in front of my computer, just making sure they don't overspend. But once I was able to finally let go of it and realize, look, Facebook will perform as long as you're not changing anything. And so as long as you're not changing anything, Facebook finds who the best person is to show this to. But it just needs data and time. And
so would you still recommend the two campaigns, one going to Shopify at the cost cap of the 20, or and have like the spend at 250?
Yeah, so the idea is that you've got two different funnel flows, right? You've got Shopify and you've got Funnel Builder. Both of them. So your funnel has 3 page view events, 3 add to cart events potentially before it gets to initiate checkout, whereas Shopify has a single page load event to an add to cart to initiate. So you've got a few extra events that Facebook we need to optimize for on the funnel version. But right now the idea is we want to achieve performance within an appropriate cost cap, right? So this way you can go put on a $1,000 a day campaign, cost cap it at if you need a 2 ROAS, then half of what your performance is. So go to Funnel Builder, see what your performance is on Funnel Builder. If you're actually getting a $70 AOV, then run a $35 cost cap.
How do you find that out on Funnel Builder? That's one thing I don't know how to find out.
Yeah, so you've got total checkouts 56. You have total purchases here.
Let's see, last 30 days. Let's do last 30 days. Yeah.
Okay, so you have 20. So where's your purchases?
That's the thing on here. It doesn't show it.
Well, where's it? It should be right next to total checkouts. It should be the.
Is there a way to?
Can you scroll down? Is there anything below this?
No. So this is under the performance, unless there's new statistics. Because it's going straight to this is also going straight to Shopify. So once they get to that checkout, it goes back to Shopify.
Yeah. And that's right. So you've got, hold on a second. Let me think about this.
So it's checkout settings. This goes to.
So yeah, you're not going to find it here. Go back to Shopify. Let's go into your analytics. So go into, reports, and then we want to go down to your product. Let's see. Oh, did you not? Yeah. Okay, can you go to products? What are his product names? Is the naming convention different for the funnel product versus the Shopify product?
Some are. So like we have.
So are they the 50%? So you've got % off.
So here's this one.
Is that the common denominator?
The biggest one is we have the Scout Cream. We got a Facebook promo here. We got a 2-pack shampoo, but here's some other up here though. Let me see. So we got the body, we got the conditioner on there. We have there's a 2-pack cream. There's this one right here. Where is it at? Hold on.
So essentially what I'm trying to accomplish here is if you take the products that are sold on the funnel, and then give me a revenue generated from those products during that date range, then you can back that out to the total revenue from those products divided by number of sales will give you an average order value.
Okay.
So that way so if your average order value is 70, then your 2 is at 35. And then if you've got 45 on this, then your average order value is going to be, what's that, 26, 27. And so you'll have two different cost caps that you're going to try because you've got 2 different paths, right? 2 different customer journeys. So I would do that at an ABO level, like 1 campaign, 2 ad sets. One of them is for your Shopify. One of them is for your funnel builder. Have 2 different cost caps based on what your 2.0 ROAS would look like. And then test those. If you get no traffic on them, then bump them up $1, right? So keep on bumping them up $1 until you get no traffic and it stays consistent with no traffic over the next 2 or 3 hours. Bump it up $1. And so so what we're looking for is we just want to get it to spend. Once we can see where it spends, then we can see where Facebook sees the performance is at. And then we need to go back and back that out. Does that spend still allow us to be profitable? And so this is how we find out what the cost cap is without guessing so much, just using data to tell us where it's at.
Okay, so get all the products are sold in the funnel, and then get the total revenue, and then divide that. Right? Is that what you said?
Yeah, divide that by the number of purchases of those products. That'll give you average order value of those products or of those of that experience. So I look at those two things. That way you can set those up for high spending campaigns, right? Because as long as you're thresholding on their cost cap, then you're not going to spend if it doesn't perform. You just need to find where that performance is. You don't want it to be so high that you overspend, but you don't want it to be so low that Facebook won't spend. So you got to find that happy ground, and that way you can keep a high budget campaign on and still maintain performance. That way we can get your revenue up on this.
Okay. Yep. Awesome. All right. I got some marketing orders. Yeah. All right. I'll definitely just rewatch it, and then